Hello traders, it's Victoria from TradePro Academy, and today we got yet another video for you guys. I hope you guys are excited for this video. We've talked about this multiple times before, but I want to share with you guys a very special update in options order flow trading. Now, options order flow is one of the most important tools that an options trader can have and should be very, very versed in what is order flow and how to read order flow in terms of options to generate profit from the market as a retail trader. So the tip that I'm going to share with you guys today, the software that I'm going to share with you guys today is specifically designed to give the retail options traders an edge in these markets, these ever-changing markets. So before we get started, I want to give you a little breakdown of order flow and give you something to imagine, a visualization, just so you can get the picture wrapped up in your head. So order flow is what institutional traders, what retail traders, what just general traders and investors look at to follow where the large money is going. Now, with order flow trading, you can see the actual orders that are being put in by people like me, right? People maybe like you, people that are institutional traders as well, right? For example, maybe some Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan options traders, even though they could just be hedging, whatever the case may be, you can see what the orders are in any different circumstance. So why is this important? Now imagine this, let's do a visualization. Imagine you know that Goldman Sachs, for example, or at a big institution is placing a $10 million options position, right? On a notional value options position for energy, right? You notice this, maybe you don't know who it's coming from, but let's just say Goldman Sachs is a visualization. You notice this energy position that comes in, and then after that, maybe another 5 million, another 3 million, and all this builds up in the month of December and January. Now, those are positions while the whole market is kind of in seesaw that get noticed. When you notice these massive positions, those are orders you want to follow and you want to take because they know something that we don't know. That is a point of order flow. When you see big positions, big money going into different positions that you may be thinking, well, why this? Why this? Well, they clearly know something that we don't know. If they're willing to risk that much capital, then there is a potential big opportunity. Now, that is what this platform enables us to do. We are enabled to follow these massive orders and get long energy in January, right? Get short tech in January. And that's exactly what we've done. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do that and what we use to do that. So let's dive into this. So again, welcome to TradePro Academy. Welcome to the channel. And I want you guys to smash that subscribe button, hit that like button before we get started, and drop a comment down below. Do you guys use this order flow platform? Now, the order flow platform that we are talking about for options trading is none other than Unusual Whales. So Unusual Whales is a very retail friendly, a very cheap order flow platform that everyone has access to. So we're going to discuss this a lot more in detail, but today what we're going to talk about is main 3 topics. So these 3 topics, what is Unusual Whales? So these are the 3 topics. We're going to go over order flow and the importance of order flow. We're also going to talk about the unusual whales. And then finally, what we're going to be doing is breaking down some of the most important sections on the software. So if you guys are excited about this, right, it's a very, very intensive topic of conversation. It can go on for hours and hours, but we're just going to do an intro video here. If you guys are interested in any specific part of the whales and how to use it, just drop a comment down below when you see it. So I hope everyone is excited for this, and let's dive right into it. So number 1, what is order flow? What is the importance of order flow? Now, we've given a little explanation at the beginning, but order flow is tracking orders in the market, whether it's institutional money or retail money. In the options market, it's very, very important to understand this because there's both sides to the trade, longs and shorts, long calls, short calls. We also have spreads. We also have multiple leg orders, and understanding how these combine together can give us a directional anticipation of the market, right? Of individual stock names, of the general market. Now, why is this important? The reality of it is that realistically, options trading is difficult. We can make educated guesses based on charts. We can make educated guesses based on a lot of things, but there are a lot of factors that go into options pricing, and understanding what the big institutional money does really gives retail slight advantage in comparison to what they were sticking with before. So this platform is made to really guide the retail investor, the retail trader, in seeing the order flow a little more clearly. Now, the importance of order flow allows us to track big money institutional plays, right? Whether it's 10 million, a couple of 100,000, regardless of the amount, you can see when people are piling into different sectors. You can see when people are piling into different stocks and where that interest lies. You can also see the reverse, where people are getting out of certain positions and where people are actually betting against the market. We don't necessarily know where the market's going. We don't know what the institutions have planned, but we can get a glimpse at what the institutions are doing, right? We don't have to be in their heads. We can see what their flow is like, and that's exactly what order flow presents to us. Now, as a retailer, you don't want to be a leader. You want to follow the big fish. You want to follow these whales. Realistically, they're the ones that move the market, and we don't have that much capital to be able to sway positions back and forth. They dictate the movement. We follow the movement. And another important aspect of order flow, right, that goes beyond the individual stock names, is the sector analysis and sector rotation. Now, this website that I'm going to break down for you guys does have that capability. So understanding the asset allocation and the money flows between sectors, not only between stocks, is vastly pivotal in understanding where the market direction can head, where the order flow is going, and so on and so forth. So, for example, we take the energy example that we had earlier before, right? We can identify where big money is anticipating a move in energy in the coming days. Let's take this as an example. If we have a risk on versus risk off sectors, and we know them very well, the risk on sectors would mainly be tech, right? You have some financials and some other things like consumer, like communication services. And on the other end, you have utilities, you have energy, you have healthcare, and defensive, which may be on the risk off sentiment. So when you understand the order flow, you can see where big money is actually transitioning from risk on to risk off to risk on, so on, back and forth. And following this flow will enable you to stay on the side of relative strength. So let's take a look at an example. We talked about energy a lot, and we want to break down this XOM image. So XOM is ExxonMobil. It is one of the larger energy companies. And what we found on the whales is this right here. Let's put it up on the screen. And we found that there is a lot of bullish flow coming in on Friday, March 4th, right? Which we dictated in our trading room right on Discord, but there is a lot of bullish flow on the selling of puts, right? Which is still bullish. So understanding how to read this gives us an idea that, hey, you know what? Throughout the whole day, there's continuous bull for the next few weeks. It is worth taking a position in this because you can see there's millions of dollars pouring into this, right? These millions of dollars are most likely not going to evaporate. Following this gives us a higher degree of confidence to actually enter this trade. We already know that energy is a strong sector based on the flow that we've read. Now we have confirmation of an individual name that's actually gaining more and more traction. Even though it might seem like it's a little late, it's rallied a lot, but if people are willing to put $1 million on the line, right, millions and millions and millions, we are able to put a couple of thousand ourselves to see if the trajectory of this move is solid. Now you can see if we combine this with our technical analysis, we're at a key resistance point, and the money just kept flowing in. It flowed in all day to the bull side. This is something that we want to take note of, right? And breaking that down, we took a shot at it. We had our swing trade on it, and it panned out pretty nicely, right? These are 200-300% gainers. So the question is, right, how can we use unusual whales to find things like these? Now, I want to introduce to you guys unusual whales first before we really dive into this. The introduction of unusual whales is fairly simple. This is a platform that was created to give the retailers an edge in the market, to give the retailers a chance in the market, if you will. It's a very cheap platform. It's very affordable. It's like maybe $40-ish a month, which is a great price for it. And I have no affiliation with it. I am just really excited to share this with you because it has a lot of tools and they continuously improve their tools. So the unusual whales, they have a lot to break down. They have a lot of things in the platform. So why don't we go ahead, check out the screen here and see what the whales have to offer. Now I want to go through the specific different areas of the unusual whales, and you guys let me know if you want to deep dive into any of these specifics. So we're already giving you an example of how this works, but I really want to show you where to find some of the key things rather than diving into them too much. So then I'm going to explain to you guys my top few sections on unusual whales that I like to use that give me an edge in finding order flow and how to find unusual order flow. So with the unusual whales, first, before we dive too much into the computer, the point is we can easily filter out the order flow in many different ways to find those unusual moves, find those orders, that order flow that people aren't necessarily expecting, right? The order flow that people don't necessarily see, right? We can break down it between sectors. We can go between individual stock names, and we can understand what the relative strength is in the market. Even though the market has been descending over the past few weeks, in NASDAQ, for example, we're in a bear market. This platform has enabled us to say short tech names, right? Heavy mega cap tech, but long energy names. So let's take a look at this. Now, if you take a look at this website, it's very simple, looks very nice, right? The aesthetics are great. And if I just dive into Flow, I dive into Flow, and then over here on the left-hand side, you can see there is a plethora of different options. Now, some I use, right? I don't use all of them necessarily, but I just want to break things down. If we understand where the live flow is coming from, right? There's also filters and whatnot. We can read this flow throughout the day. It does get a little intense and a little heavy, so it's not the best thing to read it just unfiltered. But right here you have live flow. This live flow is order flow that comes in real time. We also then have flow alerts, which a lot of people do enjoy. You can filter these for specific alerts to tell you when there's unusual plays. I don't necessarily look at it too much. We have the dark flow as well. The dark flow is pretty much dark pool orders. It's great to look at into the end of the day. And then we have the intraday analyst. Now, the intraday analyst breaks down different sections of orders, right? Different sections of calls, puts based on an individual stock name. So right now we have Apple here on the screen, and it tells us where the most active chains are, right? Where people are getting their activity in, right? You don't know if it's bullish or bearish until you actually deep dive into it, which you can on the whales. You can also see the biggest orders on the day. You can see the biggest open interest changes, right? You can see the dark pool volume, which is very, very important. I really like looking at this dark pool volume. You also have a bunch of other things in the intraday analyst that you can go over. There's a lot of tools in there that you can really get lost in the weeds, but it's very, very descriptive stock by stock, right? So if you have a stock that you're interested in, you want to see what the flow is like, deep dive into it, you can go into here, the intraday analyst. You also have tickers, right? This section right here just breaks down a bunch of different tickers. I don't necessarily use it that much. Then we have hot chains and tickers. The hot chains and tickers is probably a lot of people's favorite, realistically. I know a lot of people that use this on the chain side. You can see which chains are being traded the most active ones. And also you can hide the indices because a lot of these can be hedges. You can see which chains are traded the most. You can also see the tickers here. The tickers section can find us unusual flow. If you want to know how, just drop a comment down below. But it can find us unusual flow. We can find bullish, bearish, aggressive flow, any kind of flow that really sticks out in this singular section. This is where I find a lot of my swings and day trades for following days. We also have ticker flow. This is a newer addition, and the good thing about unusual whales is that they constantly reinvent, well, not that reinvent, but they constantly add more to give us more of an edge. So here you can see the tickers, right? They're broken down into different categories. It's very nice. And then we have sector flow, which is one of my favorite aspects, where we talked about, can we find the sector rotation? How can we find sector rotation? This is one of the best areas to understand how money is flowing in between and through sectors. Now, there's a lot of other stuff that you guys can break down here, right? It's worth going through these on your own and taking a stab at it. But I want to talk about my favorite areas on unusual whales. So to wrap this up, there's a lot, right? People can get overwhelmed. But my top three, I would say, are going to be the live flow, where we can filter for a live flow on a daily basis. It's amazing for day trading. On a day-by-day basis, you can see the flow coming in real time, so you can actually day trade your positions. So I really like to look at the live flow aspect, right? I can filter it how I'd like. I can filter it only for calls. I can filter it only to the ask side. I can filter it in terms of premium and a lot of different other ways. So this is the area where I stick to for my day trades. Now, when it comes to the intraday analyst, that's my second favorite, because I told you guys, you can see a lot of different things on the intraday analyst. The most active chains. From the most active chains, right? We can go 162.50 calls on Apple that expire on Friday, right? What we can do is we go to the live flow. We can filter it, and we know, are these mainly bullish or are they mainly bearish? So let's go at Apple. Apple 162.50, right? We can go bid and ask to know if they're bullish or bearish. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go strike range 162.50, 162.50. So it's going to only give us that strike. And we can just go calls because we just saw the calls are being the most traded. So when we get this information, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the charts up here, right on the page. And you can see there's a bunch of calls sold, there's a bunch of calls bought, and we can kind of break down to see. It's very split in the middle. So sometimes it's not necessarily like this. When it's split in the middle 50-50, it's a little harder to say this is bullish or bearish. There's a slight inclination to the bull side, but this is generally how I like to use it. So these calls, remember, they do expire on Friday, meaning that the bullish premium is 880,000, the bearish premium is 804,000. So it's a slight skew to the bull side in this scenario. Now, with intraday analysts, you can do a lot of other things, like look at OI changes, right? You can look at flow levels. You can look at a bunch of stuff. So if you guys want a complete breakdown of the intraday analyst and how we actually use it, you know what to do. Drop a comment. And then my final favorite thing that I like to use, right, out of the three, right? I use sector flow a lot. It's going to be a close in the third, maybe in the top three, but the hot chains and tickers on an everyday basis, the hot chains and tickers help me identify, are there any swings that I could look at that they're getting aggressive call volume, right? Are there any day trades that are getting aggressive volume as well? And in doing this, we can find things like basic materials like VALE, months or even weeks before it rallied, right? Based on the bullish flow that we can find exactly on this screen. We can find XOM, we can find LMT, right? A lot of these names that have moved and made substantial moves. So we can filter a lot of different things. That's the beauty of Unusual Whales. And this is maybe the best platform that money can buy, right? It is extremely affordable. And in terms of order flow, you can do many different things. Swing trades, day trades, leaps, whatever it is, even look at dark pool orders. So this platform in itself encompasses everything that the retail traders should be looking for in terms of order flow, right? We want to give ourselves that competitive advantage and follow the institutional money. There is a lot on the platform. There are explanations, there are guides on the platform, but I want to make sure that this is the simplest guide that I can provide. So drop a comment down below. What do you want to see out of the Unusual Whales? How do I find things? How do I trade based on the Unusual Whales? You name it, and I'll drop it down below and we'll make a video, no problem. So again, we talked about order flow. We talked about the whales. We talked about aspects of the whales. And now that you have a very, very solid introductory foundation, just even understanding what order flow is and where to find certain things, you guys can play around with the Unusual Whales and break things down even more. So take a look at our example, rewind it with our XOM, where we found XOM right in the live flow section with continuous calls and puts, right, acting bullish for a few weeks out. You can do things like that on a daily basis here on Unusual Whales. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Remember, if you have any questions, you drop a comment down below and we're going to get those videos out for you guys. And we're going to make a specific series on how to actually trade with the whales in the most understandable way possible. So if you guys enjoyed this video, I want you guys to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and who knows, where will the whales take us next, right? We're still waiting to see if technology is going to get that bump in premium. Is big money going to start buying tech, or am I going to have to wait a long time to see that? So I hope to see you guys later. This is Victoria from TRADEPRO Academy. And remember, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and see us in our free Discord. Community.tradeproacademy.com. Check out our website, and we'll see you all there. Happy trading, and I hope you trade with me.